usage of the Kenwood TK790 VHF radio. This radio is a specific CAL FIRE spec radio. It's capable of holding 254 channels, and it has 45 watts of power, which is a big difference versus your Bendix King. So when you can use this radio, it'll have a lot more power as far as being able to transmit, and it should receive better with the way the antennas are mounted on the vehicles. We're going to go over an overview of what all the buttons do. So we can adjust our volume here. This is our channel selector. One thing with these radios is as you scroll through channels, it'll scroll back to the beginning when you get to the end, and you'll hear it beep. So when it beeped like that, it goes back to the top of the channel list for that particular group. So if you're ever looking for something, you can be scrolling, and if you hear it beep, you know that that is every channel. You've gone through every channel in that group. Speaking of groups, you can scroll through groups using these two buttons, up or down. What's new with the channel load for these radios now is every channel starts with the group number, so you can kind of get yourself oriented into where you are in the radio. So if you want group 2, when you come up, you'll see that every channel in here starts with 2, so I know I'm in group 2. There's currently 13 groups that are actually programmed in this radio. It's capable of more, but that's everything that as of the 2018 load that we had done. So, and again, you'll hear that same tone when you're scrolling up, and it goes back to the beginning. And there's currently no command group, and we'll get to that later. In this particular, they have an HA, it should be an HC. That's your home channel button. So if at any time you need to talk on Solano Fire, is what our home channel is designated as. If you press that, you'll see HC light up, and Solano Fire will come up. Now you can talk and receive on that, and then when you press it again, it'll go back to whatever your previous channel you were on. So let's say you're operating, say, VFire 24, but you needed to talk on Solano. If you press that, you can talk, do your thing, press it again, takes you back to where you were last. Talk about basically is like on your Bendix King, where you can go repeat or direct. So if I press talk about, I disable the repeater. So VFire isn't repeated, but if I was on Solano Fire 1 and for some reason I couldn't hit the repeater, but I knew there was units close to me I wanted to talk to, if I hit talk about, I basically am now talking direct. That's not programmed. Squelch, that adjusts your squelch. You can turn it up or down using the group buttons. We'll get to OGC in a minute. Monitor, so if you have channel that you think maybe somebody is using the wrong tone on, if you hit that, it opens it up so it'll listen to everything on that frequency, so it won't just be tone specific. And then if you press and hold it, now it opens it up. I'll shut that off so you can hear me. It opens it up so you can hear weak signals that might not even be able to open up on the, like, past the squelch. So if you're trying to, you think somebody's out there, you're trying to hear them, if you press and hold monitor, you can hear all the background noise with it. This is the scan button. This starts the scan sequence. When it does that, it'll just say scan. We'll get to more scan usage in a minute. Dim, all that does is, it's hard to tell because it's daytime, but that just scrolls through, I don't know, 4 or 5 different dim levels for the backlighting. This DA stands for delete or add. I just added that little symbol. That means it's added to the scan list. If I hit it again, it takes away the little symbol, so now it won't be on my scan list. Now we're going to talk about tones. If you need to select a tone, like let's scroll up here to LNU East. So some of these are hard coded right now, so that's why it says VACA or Atlas or Berryessa. But if we wanted to select a tone, so if we went to LNU East, operator selectable tone is how it's set up currently. We use these buttons over here to scroll through. So when it changes that number over here, that is you changing what tone you're using. So if they say, oh, you need to be on LNU East tone 4, that is currently set up LNU East tone 4. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about scan. So the way scan is set up on this radio is whatever current group you are working in, that's the only thing that it'll scan. So it won't scan the entire radio. So if you have channels set up for scan across multiple groups, it'll only scan what current group you're in. So in this case, we're in group 1, so I'm not scanning any of this stuff. VFire 23 is being scanned. You can tell by that symbol. If I wanted to delete it, I'd use the delete add button. Same as 24. Alright, so you keep going through here. So a lot of this stuff isn't set up to scan currently. But again, I can add whatever it is I want to listen to. And then when I hit scan, it's going to go ahead and listen to everything that you have set up for scan in that current group only. One thing that is unique to this radio is you can set up 2 different levels of priority, a priority 1 and a priority 2. The radio is currently set up on this one for Solano Fire to be priority 1 and Sika 2 to be priority 2. That's what the P2 and P1 mean. We're going to go ahead and move that. So let's go ahead and set VFire 21 up to as priority 1. So if you press and hold scan and then use monitor, you're going to hit monitor 3 times. So scan, 1, 2, 3. That sets it as priority 1. And then we'll set VFire 22 as priority 2. So it's going to hold scan, press monitor twice. So now I've redesignated VFire 21 priority 1 and VFire 22 priority 2. Now you're probably asking yourself, why do I need to do this? Well, let's go ahead and set VFire 21. We're going to add that to our scan list with delete add. 22, we're going to add delete add. Let's add the rest of the VFire channels so I can show you this example. Oop, took it off. That one's already set, so it's 26. Okay, good. So let's say we are going to go ahead and now start the scan sequence. We're on VFire 23. Start the scan sequence. So it's scanning. Now if I take if I take my radio here and I key up on VFire 22, you see it pop up, VFire 22. Okay, that's just how you would expect normal anything that was in your scan list to work, right? But if I come over here with 2 different radios and attempt to key them up at the same time, so I'm going to key up VFire 22. It's up. Now I'm going to key up the second radio on VFire 21. Now it listens to 21. That's because in the order of priority 1 or priority 2, priority 1 takes precedence over priority 2. So if the radio is basically able to continue to scan even when it's receiving. So if it sees something that you've designated as being more important, it's going to switch to that channel and let you listen to that. Next up, we're going to talk about creating a command group. And speaking of groups, it's going to be important that you know how to set up a command group, because the 2018 load as well as the upcoming 2019 load, everything's going to be a little more a la carte. So I make it easier to find things in the radio without actually needing a paper chart to look at. As an example, like if I was looking for a CDF command channel and I started scrolling through the groups and I came up to something that's like this, group 3, it says CDF command 1, but I needed 8. Well, all of the command groups are going to be in here, and that's it, right? So then if I needed a CDF TAC channel, if I came up here to group 4, if I see a CDF TAC something, but I need TAC 32, well, if I start scrolling through here, every single TAC channel is in the same spot, or same group, I should say, so it should be easy to find for you. But, you know, when you start needing things that are in different groups, just like on a Bendix King, we need to be able to put them all in one spot. And the way we do that is, let's say we needed CDF TAC 10. Come over here to the AUG-C button. AUG-C works just like your asterisk key on a Bendix King. If you're not in a command group, it adds things to the command group, and if you are in the command group, it turns into a delete button to remove them. So if I press and hold, you see the little C flash? That means it added it. Let's go ahead and add maybe a CDF command 6. Press and hold. Okay, cool, we added that. Maybe we need Caesars Direct. It's going to be up here on OES group. One thing that's new also, Caesars Direct and Caesars Repeat are literally hard-coded in the radio as 2 separate channels, and they do work. So you don't have to fiddle with any of these other talk about monitor buttons, any of that stuff. If you pick Caesars Direct, that's all it'll do. It's pretty much all you're ever going to use, because repeat means the whole state can hear you. I'm going to add Caesars Direct. Maybe we need some sort of air to ground. All the air to ground stuff is in one spot. So maybe we need air to ground TAC 24. Add that. All your nifty stuff is in there. So that's enough. So now to get into your command group, before when we scrolled through the radio, we came down to group 1 and then it would go to 13. Well, now you see the little C pops up and it stays on. Now I know I'm in my command group. What's different compared to Bendix King is it's in group order. So on a Bendix King, however you add your channels into the group, it'll remember that order specifically. On the Kenwood, it doesn't. So you can randomly just pick and choose, and it's just going to put it in the order that they are in the radio. So if you pick something out of group 1, something out of group 3, something out of group 7, no matter what order you decide to put that in the command group, it's going to be in numerical order. Just the way it works. So now we're in here, but let's say we didn't need something, we can delete Caesars Direct. If I press and hold that, now it deleted it, so it's not in the group anymore. There is no fast way to clear the whole command group out. You got to go one by one. And when you get to the last one, it'll just default back to group 1, so you'll know that there's nothing left in the command group. Plus, when you scroll back and forth, it'll just go from group 1 to whatever the last group is, in this case 13.